Hi, my name is Prince Kpasra. I'm a pastor and an ICT consultant. Welcome to a short informative presentation on how young Christians can use social media productively and to build themselves. In this video, I would like to discuss what social media is and how it affects the users. I would also be looking at the dangers in social media, in the use of social media, the risks and the threats. I'll also be speaking about the benefit. How can one actually use social media to make money, to run their business or share the gospel, and many other things. And then finally, I will focus on the various software or various solutions, practical solutions that will be more useful for young people to focus on. There's so many things, but they can focus on these few things that I'm going to share. The guiding principle that I have chosen for this presentation and the use of social media is Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, if there is any praise, think on these things. This is a scripture any Christian can use as a ruler, a measuring rod to check the content they are putting up on social media. Is what you are putting on social media true? Is it honest? Is it just? Is it pure? Is it lovely? Is it of good report? Can we show what you are putting on social media to your pastor, for instance? Can we show what you are putting on social media to your parents? Can we show what you are putting on social media to somebody you respect? So once you want to put anything up on social media, once you want to put anything on social media, you want to do anything, you want to comment, find out based on this scripture, is it true? Is it honest? Is it just? Is it pure? Is it lovely? Is it of good report? So let this be our guiding principle as a Christian and as a young man. This scripture should be your guiding principle when you are on social media. Before I give you the definitions for social media, there are some two videos I want you to check out on YouTube. The first one is Kabi, and this is a gentleman who was laid off from work during the COVID time, and he decided to react to videos. He's become very rich, he's become very famous. He's the second largest follower with followers on TikTok, and his story is an inspiration. He doesn't even speak in his videos. He just looks at what other people have done and make comments about it with just his reaction. And then the other video that I want you to also watch is how phone use have caused several accidents. So type either inspiring story of Kabilane or just type phone use accident. You will be able to get a lot of videos on people using phones and getting them into serious accidents. What really is social media? What really is social media? Social media is just a networking of people over websites. So the definition I find online is websites and applications that enable users to create and share content to participate in social networking, you know. But what I want to add to that definition is that if you are using social media, you are a product. You are a product. Often anything you get for free, especially online, you become a product, because those who offer you the free stuff will normally sell your presence on their platform, because they have access to you, and because you have given them information. Now they have enough content and information to sell to companies. Well, if you want to reach people in Ghana, I have so and so number of people sitting in Ghana. Right now, I can sit in my office and advertise to people in the UK, in Cotonou, in Bogatanga, or any other place, because right from Facebook, I can target the people. So once you are using any form of social media, remember that you are a product. So the companies are selling you. That is a key information that you need to have. Well, let's talk about some of the dangers involved when you are using social media. You know, sometimes social media is just like a trap, and there are some inherent dangers. Awareness of these dangers and how it affects you may help you to mitigate or avoid, if it's possible, the dangers. So the first danger I'll talk about is addiction. Addiction. Social media can be very, very addictive because of how it is programmed and how they have written instructions in such a way that it keeps you moving on from one to the next to the next. There's so much content. You will never get bored when you are on social media, especially if you go to social media without an aim. You can be browsing and taking the whole day, the whole night, and you will not be tired. You will not even know you are tired. I have some questions to ask. If you answer yes to two of these questions, just two of these questions, that will mean that you are addicted. The very first question is, do you sleep with your mobile phone in your hand? If you sleep with your mobile phone in your hand, then you are you are likely to be addicted. The second question is your phone or your social media the first thing you check when you wake up? Is your phone or social media the first thing you check when you wake up? The next question I would ask is, do you feel sick or sad if you don't have data to connect to the internet? And then finally, do you feel offended when you don't get likes and shares and comments from the people around you? You know, some people during their birthdays, they they feel sad when they don't get enough comments, and that is a problem. you know there is something I call activation of reward center. Social media is able to trigger that reward center in our brains. It's able to push the levels of dopamine in our brains up when we get likes. And then when we don't get likes, or we don't get shares, or we don't get good comments, we feel down. According to a research by some people on social media, they said it is almost like having a sexual activity with your wife or your husband. How the amount of pleasure that you feel, people are able to get that kind of pleasure when they are using social media and they get likes. And if a device is able to make you feel like that, it is destroying your mind, it is destroying your emotions. Another thing I would like to talk about is how social media eventually separates us. If you look at the particular picture that I have used, the second picture, you will see that people who are supposed to be enjoying each other, embracing each other, are really focused on their phones. And I'm sure a lot of people will take this kinds of attitude even to the bedroom if they are married and etc. So if your phone is taking away the interest that you have in actually talking to each other when the person is with you, then you must have some kind of problem. Research by App Nanny, and I saw this research on BBC, says that the average use for people using mobile phones, especially staying on social media, is 4.8 hours a day. So that is in the 24 hours a day, you have, let's say, a night time of about 7 hours to sleep, and you have a working time of about 7 hours, about 8 hours for those of us in Africa here. And out of that, you are spending almost 5 hours just browsing. This is becoming the standard. That is a third of your total time is being spent on social media. This is worrying. This is worrying. Unless you work on social media, there is no point, because if you don't work on social media and social media is not bringing you any money, you are spending too much time buying data, making the mobile companies rich and getting poorer. I work on with social media, and every day I make money over social media, and I also do a number of training like this session that I'm having with you. I'm doing it over social media. So apart from actually working on social media, the rest of the time that you are spending on social media, you are probably wasting your resources on social media, and you need to check that. I'm going to prescribe some solutions. Let's continue with the dangers on the social media. It is very easy to find pornography on social media, and pornography in itself is addictive. And people may want to break away from pornography. The social media companies are unable to restrict pornography. Maybe the explicit hardcore pornography may be able to you may be able to restrict that, but there's something called soft porn and other sites that would even allow some amount of porn as long as it doesn't display the genitals, and it's very um, difficult for you to just get away from pornography. So I would encourage you all not to find a way around it. There are solutions I'm going to provide, and some of the solutions will deal with porn on social media. The next thing is that when you send your application anywhere, or you have a job offer, people are going to be looking at your social media. They are definitely going to be checking what you have been putting up. So let's say for you get a job as a banker, you get a job as a teacher, and then we go around to research your background, then we see the kind of things, maybe you have porn, or you have certain kinds of behavior, you have been speaking badly about some people on social media. It will make it difficult, it will make it very difficult for you, so it can affect your career. A classic example is when Melania, the wife of Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, uh, um, became first lady. I remember during the campaign, and when she became first lady, a number of people were posting her nude photos on social media just to denigrate her. I think it still goes on. Recently, our president, there were some videos that came, whether it was doctored or it wasn't. It was our president who was shirtless. And anything can affect you, and your political enemies or just your office, may use it against you. So think about the future when you are posting on social media, and let my guiding principle help you. And then poor sleep, because of social media, as I've alluded to in the previous session, the people are not sleeping. Sometimes all through the night, all through the day, they are on social media. And this one, I did a research on PubMed. PubMed is a public page that does research on how not sleeping would affect you. And they said that lack of 7 hours sleep will cause obesity in females. That means that you become fat just because you are spending time on social media. You become fat, and it actually makes sense because apart from the ladies, the gentlemen may also become fat, because instead of going out and exercising, you are simply sitting down for hours or lying on your tummy for hours just watching social media. And ladies, you can become ugly just because you are spending too much time on social media. They also found breast cancer relating to not sleeping well. So if you are not sleeping well, if you are not sleeping the 7 hours, you are going to breast cancer is something that is a risk for you. And then reduction in the size of the manhood. In terms, if you are a male, your excuse me to use the word penis becomes smaller and you become impotent. So the more time you are spending on social media and not sleeping, you are likely to trigger um, chemicals in your system that will give you this problem. Prostate cancer has been listed, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and hypertension. There are a number of things that once you see on social media, it affects you so much. Some videos, some comments, some attitude, it affects you so much that you go into some kind of depression or anxiety. Or and then another thing that I find very curious is if you don't get the 7 hour sleep, you lose your memory, because when you sleep for at least 7 hours, your brain is able to um, um, replenish itself so that it can help your cognitive growth. So you become, excuse me to say, dumber or more stupid as you don't sleep. Your brain doesn't function well. So it's something that you need to check if you don't sleep because you are using your phone. So, and then I'll also talk about impulse spending. And there are a number of spending we do because we have just seen something on social media and we like it. So we spend money on those things that we really don't need. If we have them, it doesn't really add anything to ourselves, but just because it's a trend and a lot of people are using it over social media and then we are seeing it, we want to get into the trend. And then foreign cultural practices. Sometimes what people do in their country that is not really in our country also affects us. Somehow they live their life. Everybody has a background, has a context. There are some things that may be permitted or allowed in some cultures that are not allowed in our culture. So if you focus too much on social media, you tend to import some practices. For Christians, homosexuality, for instance, is allowed in some cultures, is praised in some cultures. In other cultures, it is not allowed or praised. So you tend to losing your moral composition just because you are following social media. So there are more dangers that I would like to also talk about. We have all been the victims of scammers on social media. People trying to um, take over our accounts, hack our accounts. So it's a real danger. Some scammers are successful, and some scammers are taking time to learn. There's something called phishing, where they present to you a look alike of your login details. When you enter your details, they will take your information and now log into your accounts and then probably take over. A number of you have had your social media accounts take over by hackers, and scammers who use that information to try to scam you to come. Other dangers include armed robbery. Now, people can just watch your page and actually pinpoint exactly where you are and where you will be. So if you are a victim of armed robbery, the armed robbers are also looking at what is on social media and who they are going to rob. And then kidnapping. There's a couple of videos on YouTube. You can search on YouTube. You will find that a number of young people were kidnapped for as an experiment, just because somebody sent them a message and related to them as friends and told them, meet me here, meet me there. And then when they went, they were captured. For some of them it was a social experiment, so they were lucky. Fake prophecies. As a Christian, sometimes you go to a church and the kind of information the so-called prophet is giving to you is from your Facebook. So it becomes a bit difficult to trust some of these prophets. I'm a prophet too, but some of the prophecies, if they don't touch you, you can ignore it. And I would also want to tell you, I'm speaking as a pastor now. whatever prophecy that you will get, you must have a confirmation in your heart, and you must check that prophecy out with your senior minister, with your pastor, so that you don't become victim of fraudsters who are pretending to be prophets. And then you can actually get an enemy attack. Somebody who doesn't like you can attack you just because you're on social media. And then a lot of the things you see on social media, they are fake. A lot of them are fake. Only a few things, if you look carefully, you would find. If you see any profile, and for 5 years, for 3 years, there's just one photo of the profile, it is more likely that that page is a fake page. Somebody is just using that information to look for other information. And you can actually make real enemies. Somebody doesn't like you, so a comment on somebody's page will make you their enemies, but there's nothing you can do about. Sometimes just your picture annoys somebody, so these are a number of security and safety issues. And because everybody thinks a certain way about a particular matter, it may color or force you to go with the mob. This mob mentality, there is no independent thinking when it comes to social media, because everybody is doing it like this. You also want to do your social media like this. I think I left one key information out about what I call satanic rewards. Normally, as a Christian, you find out that when you put scriptures or you do meaningful things, sometimes you don't really get attention. But you just take off your bra and show your breast, hundreds of people will follow you, because the devil is rewarding people sitting on social media. You understand? So you must understand that the devil also does social media. In the time past, he had to consult the books through Herod to find where Jesus was born. He didn't know everything. Now, the devil doesn't have to consult Herod again. He needs to consult prophets who will minister or just look at your Facebook and be able to tell you where you are. So you need to watch this. As a Christian, you need to check these things from time to time, and then sometimes I'll just get to the solutions in my next slide. So I'm sure to bring some light onto this. Solutions to the dangers that I've spoken about. Follow the guiding principle of Philippians chapter 4, verse 8. That one would help solve any issues you are going to have in the future if what you are putting up and what you are doing is wholesome. The second thing is that there is no way you can delete what you have recorded. Even if you delete it, it is sitting on a server somewhere. Even your phone, unless you burn your phone, if you format it, whatever video you have recorded can be brought back. We only need access to your hard drive or your memory, and then most of your information can be brought back. So if you don't want it up on social media, don't put it there. Nobody can force you to put it there. If you don't want it up, don't put it there. Don't record it. It's as simple as that. The third thing I would like to say is that block the people who have content or who share content that you don't like. If somebody consistently share content that you don't like, simply block the person. On any platform, you can block people. It's very easy to block people. If you come for one of my trainings, either online or in person, I can show you how to recover your account, how to block people, and how to secure your system. But you can easily block people. You can block pages too. And you can block, if you anytime you see anything you don't like, go click around the content. You will find a place that allows you to block the thing. Remember that it's a network, so if you don't block A is connected to B, who is also doing the same thing. So you keep blocking people. Almost every time you go online, whatever you see, you block it, so that the system understands that these types of content, you don't like them. But if you keep clicking on them and you laugh and you like it, that means that more of those content will show up. Then regular smartphone fasting. I normally, when you are fasting, you prevent yourself from eating. They say in the same way, just take your chip out of your phone and put it in a yam phone. If you put your chip in a yam phone, and you say you are doing mobile phone fasting or social media fasting, you can do for a week or for 3 days, and then you don't go on social media or something. Most people don't work on social media, so the social media fasting should be relatively easy for you because you don't work on social media per se. So you phone fasting or social media fasting is important. From time you can I recommend it as often as you would fast as a Christian. I believe in fasting. I fast often, and sometimes to I just I can you can just turn the phone off. But I recommend taking your chip out of the smartphone, put the smartphone down, put your SIM in maybe a YAM phone for 1 week, and see whether you will die. Some people feel they will just disappear when they fast, the smartphone fast, you know. And then prioritize your activity. When you are going on social media, don't just go that I'm going on social media. I work on social media and I always have a book. It's here. I have a book that I've written out a couple of things that I want to do. So when I go on social media, I'm following those things. If you don't make a practice of that and you go on social media, the system, the algorithms behind what you are seeing will keep you moving endlessly. And until your data stops, sometimes you don't even know you are moving around. So always have a list of what you want to do. And I recommend that you use at least at most 3 social media. I would include um, YouTube in that 3. YouTube, and if possible, Facebook, um, because most of your friends are sitting on Facebook, and then YouTube because you do a lot of learning from YouTube, and maybe one other that you like. Unless if you are working with social media, then that's a whole new ball game. But if you go to social media to go and work, then your focus should be on the content that you are providing or what you are doing. And then you need to you need to create awareness. One person's protection is not enough. If I am protected but my wife is exposed or my sister is exposed, through my sister I'm also exposed. So you need to, for instance, share this video with them, let them understand the dangers that they can face on social media, and then train them. You need to get trained if you want to really work on social media and make money daily. Get proper training. This try and error can create a problem for you. I do trainings all the time. If you look at the end of this slide, you will find my contact, or somehow you can get into one of the training on how to promote your church using social media, how to promote your business using social media, how to evangelize using social media. I have several topics that I do. Most of my workshops are practical. This one is just a talk shop to create awareness, but most of my workshops are practical. And then you can get training from some other place. At the end of this slide, I'll share some few places that has useful things on social media. So follow the guiding principles. I mean, once you follow the scripture, I mean, you should be fine. If you follow the guiding principles, if you don't put what you don't want up there, if you block people and pages, if you do regular smartphone fasting, if you prioritize, you use just a few apps, because normally they cross post. So what is on Facebook, you'll find it on Twitter, you'll find it on many other places. So using multiple accounts or multiple social media platforms like Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, the rest of them is just cross posting. So they are just wasting your data anyway, you know. And then finally, create awareness by sharing my slides and then talking to other people. Get training if you want to use it to make money. And I would be biased here to say attend one of my practical workshops so that you can also benefit. Well, somebody will say, with all these various dangers, isn't getting out of social media a solution? Some people have just simply stopped using social media. Yes, if it works for you, that's fine. But there are 2 concepts I would like to put up. The first concept is what I call the paradox of social media. Your assignment, or our assignment as Christian, is to reach everywhere with the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ. So not reaching people connected to you with the gospel is not being able to do your job. And your attempt to also go on social media is also some kind of exposure to danger. So these two things um, are opposites. Do I go? And if I go, will I see bad? And if I don't go, how do I share? So there's some kind of a chicken and egg situation. Which one is good? Is it good? Is it bad? So it has it at the second concept I'd also put up is what I call Schrodinger's cat. You know, um, there's a concept that says that until you open the box, you don't know whether the cat is dead or alive. Because in that experiment, we are told that Schrodinger puts a radioactive agent and a cat in a box, and we do not know the state of the cat. Sometimes the attempt to open it may kill the cat. It may not make sense to you, but think about it this way: until you open up social media, you don't know whether it is good or it is bad. And if it is bad for you, by all means stop using it. you know the world doesn't come to an end. But if it is not, use it for good things. Sometimes the only reason why it is bad is because you have not learned how to handle the social media. So it's a paradox, and then it's a picture of a Schrodinger's cat. I hope you get to understand these concepts. Benefits of social media. A lot of people are interested in this particular area. So social media can help you connect with your family and your friends. And a number of people have found love through social media. I did a research some time ago, and people prefer to meet those they will fall in love with or they will have a relationship with in person, maybe in church or at a funeral or at a party, as opposed to just meeting the person on social media and trying to connect. It may happen, but it's very risky, and people prefer to meet their lovers in person. So you can connect with your family, you can connect with other church members. Our church is a global church, and we have members across the globe, so we can connect with all of them. And then social media is also an opportunity to learn. You see what people are doing, and you are learning from it. If you are watching this video on social media, that tells you that social media has given us the opportunity to meet and to learn something. So online learning is easy through social media, and social media may call attention to the best places to learn. Exposure is a benefit because it can expose the good things that you are doing. I shared a story of Kaby Lane, who was simply reacting to um, people doing simple things in a complicated way, you know. And just that exposure helped him, and now he got endorsements from different companies and brands, and he has a very large following, just because the social media gave him that exposure. So social media can give you that exposure. Not necessarily that you are doing business, but just that exposure. Your information can go global. It can become a global information and beneficial to everybody. I hope this video that I'm doing goes global, so that it can help someone who is listening. And then business, you can use social media to promote your business. I've always been an advocate for social media to promote your business, because often it takes away the initial cost, initial capital that you need. There are a couple of people I have trained, they started businesses from their kitchen. I trained them on how to use social media to probably sell shito or sell gari or sell alata semina, and right from their kitchen, they do their product, takes nice photos, put it on social media, do the right targeting and boosting, and then people call them. Then they have a bicycle or a motorbike or a car do the delivery for them. So social media can really help you start a business. There are people who are simply doing videos on social media. They are getting more trends, and other companies are coming to them to advertise over their network. I told you that when you are on social media, you are a product. So you better be making some money from being a product, So those are the four main areas I would like to talk about. There are a lot of benefits when you are using social media. That is actually why it is attractive. However, you need to learn how to use it or how to take advantage of social media. So where should your focus be when it comes to social media? You must understand that everything can be learned. Everything. So as a young person, as a Christian, you need to get some text readers. My target for this video is young people, but even to the elderly people, you need to get text readers that will be able to read everything on your phone to you, so that when you are learning, you can learn from everything that you have put together. Normally, educational content will come in text, in PDFs, and if you have text readers on your mobile phone or your device, they can read to you, and you can also read. So I focus on text readers. An example is the TTS reader that reads for you. And then text capture. Sometimes you may want to read a hard copy material that is printed. You can use Google Lens to capture the text and have Google Lens read it to you, or have the TTS read it to you. So if you focus on just these two, your stress involved in reading will just disappear, because you can listen to like 5 books a day. If you are a student or you are doing your PhD or probably your master's, you need to read a lot of content. So simply copy those contents or import the PDF in one of the text readers that you have installed on your phone, and then you can be reading it whilst you are driving to work, or you are even jogging in the morning. You can be listening to your notes. By the time you get to class, if you are a student, you would have listened to your notes like 10 times, so you'll be able to actually memorize better. So text readers, I recommend TTS. I recommend Google Lens. Google Lens, you go to the text section and you use it. As a young person, Khan Academy is very important. Khan Academy has almost everything that you will need in the primary school, everything that you will need in the secondary school or the high school, even some of the things you will need in college. You will find the information available. So simply go to Khan Academy and then look at some of the courses in mathematics or English or any other topic that you want, and just learn. Majority of the content is free, so you can learn, and you can pay for certification if you want to. And then edux is also important. EDX, if you go to edux, you will find a lot of content for your first degree programs, your master's program, your PhD program, that is available and organized by Harvard University, um, Oxford University, and some of the very top universities across the globe. They have gathered all their content and they have put it on EDX. So you just type edx.com.org in your browser, it will take you to the site. And then YouTube, I've learned a lot of things from YouTube. Probably you might be watching this video from YouTube. So YouTube also remains a place where you can learn. It's just easy to learn in this day and age. Well, so this brings me to the end of the presentation, but let me talk briefly about some of the workshops that I do under the IT for Pastors workshop. I've been a pastor for about 15 years, and then I've also been in IT in a similar length of time. So I often organize workshops on how we can use ICT solutions to build the church, or to do whatever you need to do as a minister. So I have IT solutions, mobile applications for pastors. I look at all the mobile apps that a pastor would need to make their work easier, you know. And then I look at book writing using technology. I help build pastors and anybody who wants to write a book. I show them the various softwares they can use and train them on how to use the software, you know. Then I also do social media for church and social media for business. And I think I've mentioned a few things during this workshop. Then online radio, we have a workshop that trains people how to start an online radio and publish the gospel. You know, it's a full radio station that you'll be able to operate right from your laptop or even from your phone. All you need to do is to learn how to do the setup and train you in audio editing to help you be able to promote. I also do some other trainings, but you can check out that kind of training on my page. You can connect with me on +233 244 another 441219. That's my hotline. If you have any questions, kindly drop the questions in the comment or send me a WhatsApp message, and I'll be glad to respond to you. I would also like to invite churches and groups, youth groups, and ministers grouping, so that we do workshops together, so that we can build the kingdom of God. Technology can cause us to move forward if we work together, you know. So God bless you, and thank you for your time. Thank you for taking time to listen to me. Bye.